The floor hummed under my boots, a low, constant vibration, not unlike a heartbeat, but colder, synthetic. My footsteps vanished beneath the roar of production, scraping, grinding, the staccato thud of metal colliding with metal. I paused just inside the doorway, watching the smoke climb towards the ceiling. Exhaust pooled in the rafters like clouds trapped inside a storm too large to leave. I'd built this. Every walkway laid with intention. Every conveyor belt looped into the next with purpose. And it felt real, tangibly real. The kind of place someone might work, not just survive. Clean sightlines, logical layouts, safety corridors that doubled as viewing platforms. If this factory existed on Earth, it would have made the cover of a magazine. The art of automation. It was beautiful, and it worked. Yet the longer I stood there, the more I felt the edges curling inward. This was my masterpiece, but it wasn't enough. It never was. I had just finished a major renovation, brought in new materials, stitched a second building to the first, added a third floor, tripled the volume, train stations, routing logic, fluid dynamics that felt like threading a needle underwater. Everything I had learned up to this point, everything had been poured into this place. It was supposed to last. A landmark, a centerpiece I could return to between expeditions. This wasn't just function. This was identity. Every facility before this one was built with that same intention. To feel alive, to feel like mine. But this was the first that actually achieved it. And it lasted one day. That's how long it took to realize this marvel, this living sculpture, produced only a sliver of what the demands required. Just a fraction. The factory I'd believed was my culmination, it was a footnote, a warm-up exercise. I almost quit. Not a dramatic quit, not a slammed door, uninstall the game quit, but a slow, decaying kind. The kind that starts with silence. The kind where each session has more space in between than the last. Where I don't even realize I've stopped playing until weeks pass and the thought of returning feels foreign. The only thing that kept me holding on was duty. Not to the game, not even to myself, but to the commitment I'd made before I'd even started. I didn't owe this factory more time, but maybe I owed myself the closure. So I stood there, hands metaphorically full, clutching every thread of intention. The dream of something beautiful, something believable, something mine. And I cut them. Not all at once, but slowly at first. One wall removed, just to make space. One machine added. Maybe I could still save it. But the more I dismantled, the faster I moved. Expansion wasn't a solution. It was erasure. And by the time I was done, by the time the soul of the place had been swallowed by pipes and output nodes, it was gone. Not ruined, just emptied. I looked down from above, the new factory stretching below me, a monstrous sprawl of efficiency. This was 20 times the size of what had come before. An achievement, technically, but it didn't move me. If I walked away, never to come back, it wouldn't matter. There was no personality in the layers of iron and concrete, no narrative in the interlocking belts, just process, just progress, just the grind. And yet, as I watched it pulse, I felt something. Not pride, not joy, something darker. A hunger. The ghost of ambition, nudging the bottom of the hollow spaces that used to hold hope. This wasn't what I came to build, but it was still building. In the end, I gave in to that hunger. and it became what fueled me for the rest of my time spent here. There was a part of me that liked it, and there was a part of me that hated that I liked it. When I stood on the final ledge, overlooking everything, the sprawl, the cut-open grounds, the looping wires over dead hills, I felt relieved. Not to be done, but to be leaving. Not goodbye to the game, goodbye to what it had become.